For this week's Wellbeing Wednesday, I want to talk about the concept of chronotypes. Many times you'll hear people talk about being an early bird or a night owl. Recently, in the last number of years, there's been research and work done by Dr. Michael Breus talking about 4 different types of chronotypes and people taking quizzes and identifying as a dolphin or a lion or a wolf. What does this mean? And mostly we've been seeing this come up more and more as our work environments are changing with hybrid work schedules, remote work, people sleeping in, having flexible work schedules where they can start their day at 10 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., work into the later evening hours, not because it's a night shift, but because they've just adjusted with a flexible work schedule. Lots of pushback has come from some employees and coworkers saying that, well, is this person going to be seen as being lazy because they are sleeping in, or the person that can't seem to wake up as early in the morning? So is this something that's truly there? Can it be changed? Can it be adjusted? We do know that from research, we can have adjustments in our circadian rhythm from setting up behavioral schedules, telling our body when we're going to allow it to sleep. So when we're sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same day, getting sleepy at certain times. But there is also research out there looking from genetics, specifically thinking, for instance, on the PER3 gene, showing that there are specific genetic predispositions that play a role in our circadian rhythm. And for some of those reasons, we can't completely rewire biologically when we're feeling most awake and most tired. So how do we apply this to a work context and to really finding our ideal times to be awake and to focus? Some of that does come down to listening to our bodies and recognizing that, are we the person that gets up in the morning and we're finding that we're most awake and we're ready to hit the day running there? Or is it more that middle of the afternoon or later evening? If we're able to have the job circumstances where we can have some flexibility in that schedule, then recognizing when we're seeing our most optimal performance. But we want to make sure that it's not just that we're pushing ourselves so hard or that we are at a place where we're not giving ourselves enough sleep. And so that's why when we wake up in the morning, we're feeling more tired and groggy versus the fact that the morning isn't really our ideal and optimal time to perform. It's going to be important to make sure that we're getting the right amount of sleep that our body is going to need, but then also paying attention to when do we seem that we are our most alert. We also know that there is research out there that looks at our chronotypes, especially from the early birds and the night owls, to having impacts on people developing or being at higher risk for things such as anxiety and depression as well. So it is something to pay attention to, but to also recognize within the workspace that just because somebody may be sleeping in longer and maybe waking up a little bit later, that it does not mean that that person is immediately lazy. But also, if we see a change, could that be an indicator of somebody being burned out? We also know that we see changes and impacts in our circadian rhythm throughout the course of our lives. For instance, individuals late teens and through 20s many times will have a delayed onset where they're not getting tired until later, but then needing to wake up later. So also looking at certain key components such as age to see what might be the right fit for somebody, as well as looking at how chronotypes can then have an impact on us being more productive and having more happiness and overall well-being within our work schedules. Be well.